Good afternoon and welcome to the first Property Roundtable series by CAN CGM, which is the CEO Action Network and Climate Governance Malaysia for 2022. My name is architect Serina Hijjas, architect in the architectural field responsible for shaping sustainability in the built environment and currently Vice President of the Malaysian Green Building Council, supporting the host for this event. Today's Property Construction Roundtable is on the subject of low carbon cities in Malaysia. Creating low carbon cities is most impactful towards climate action, affecting greater lives and societies at large. We need our cities' leadership. Change needs to happen at the city's level to best respond to climate change and adaptation to meet a lowered carbon emission by 2030 and prepare for a net zero carbon scenario by 2050. Cities, municipals, districts, stewardship is very important and more than ever in setting clear, strategic, measurable targets in mitigating these coming effects. If at a national level, we may not be able to create sufficient initiatives, incentives, and mandatory requirements, city councils have this ability to do these acts to green Malaysia collectively faster. We are so honored to have with us today 3 cities from Semenanjung and East Malaysia, members of the City Mayors of Malaysia, Malaysia Association of Local Government, and all these 3 cities are now part of the largest global alliance for city climate leadership across the global covenant called GCOM, known as the Mayors for Climate and Energy. Johor, Pinang, and Kota Kinabalu. CAN CGM's first 2021 roundtable on property construction identified 9 enablers in consultation with the building industry, everyone from developers to architects to engineers in the built environment, and agreed to push the agenda to 2025 and not 2030. The shared motivation is that we need to target in shorter period and the property sector is ready to respond. These were the 9 enablers that CAN CGM had established together with the property and construction sector in 2021. These were prepared for the COP26. The enablers were to look at energy efficiency as a key on new buildings and existing buildings, by either the adoption of MS 1525 and of course the standards at the UBBL 38A, encouraging more energy efficiency within the existing buildings, which makes up for 80% of buildings. Enabler 2 is enforcing or bringing up the renewable energy in terms of adoption of solar solutions, from the 20 to 25% of the built environment being prepared for renewable energy. Enabler 3 is looking at low carbon materials. Enabler 4 is waste minimization and promote circularity, which I believe quite a few of the cities are already looking at. Enabler 5 is improved governance and structure. Enabler 6 is capacity building, which is very important. Enabler 7 is the GHG database across all sectors within your cities. Enabler 8 is promote conservation at all levels. And Enabler 9 is reduce urban heat island effect. I believe that most of these cities are addressing these, but we need to move these agendas much further and much faster. I'd like to introduce the moderator, Johan, the Dato Sri Johan Raslan, the moderator of today's roundtable. Dato Sri Johan Raslan bin Muhammad Raslan, Council Member of Climate Governance Malaysia and a steering committee member of CEO Action Network. Johan is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accounts in England and Wales and a former chairman of PwC Malaysia, and has assisted SC and Bank Negara in the Code of Corporate Governance and now advocates in climate emergency governance. Dato Sri.
Thank you very much, Architect Serina. Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon to everybody here today. We are all very honored to have you with us. As Architect Serina Hijjas just said, we are honored to have this low carbon cities engagement. Three esteemed panelists. Now, let me introduce them to you. First, Yang Berbahagia, Dato Haji Mohd Noorazam bin Dato Haji Osman is Mayor of Johor Bharu City Council. He has seen wide service in the Johor civil service over 30 years. He's a graduate in government and public policy from the UK and has been Mayor of Johor Bharu City for just over 1 year. Secondly, we will have Yang Berbahagia, Dato Architect Tung Seang. He is the Dato Bandar of Majlis Bandaraya, Pulau Pinang, and he is an architect as well. He has worked with Penang City Council also for over 30 years and has been Dato Bandar of Penang City since 2018. Third, Yang Berusaha Encik Abdul Manaf Rajikan is Deputy Director of Planning and Development at Dewan Bandaraya, Kota Kinabalu, where the big Mayor's Conference is being held this week. Encik Abdul Manaf is representing the Mayor of Kota Kinabalu, of course, can't make it because of that big conference this week that's going on. So we're very pleased to have him here today. He is an engineer, so we have the full range, and he has been in the service of Kota Kinabalu City also for 30 years. In fact, if my information is correct, all three of our distinguished guests joined their respective services in the same year, which is a massive coincidence. So maybe some kind of mafia thing going on between you all. I'm sure it's all separate. So let me move to today's format, what we are going to do. I'm going to ask, after this, each of the panelists to give a short presentation. And after that, we will have a Q&A session for about 25 minutes. We'll aim to close the entire session by 3:30 p.m. I hope that that suits everybody. Please do enter, if you're the audience, please do enter all your questions in the Q&A box. Please don't forget that. We are all expecting a lot of questions, and the two mayors and Chip Manaf are raring to go. They have said, in fact, ask me anything, we will tackle. So they're looking forward to the questions from the floor. By now, of course, after all this pandemic, we're all used to where the Q&A box is. Don't be shy. So if that sounds okay with everybody, I'm going to begin by inviting to speak. First of all, from Johor, the Mayor of Johor Bharu City Council, Yang Berbahagia, Dato Haji Noorazam. Over to you, Dato.
Thank you, Dato Sri Johan and Architect Serina, for inviting Johor Bharu to be part of this online discussion on a very important subject, which is the climate change and the green agenda and the carbonization, going towards low carbon cities for Malaysia. And I think I start off by giving a very simple presentation. Basically, where we started off in Johor Bharu, we started off way back in 2013. I think if you could go to the next slide. Next. Excuse me. Okay. We started actually to look into this issue of low carbon society blueprint together with the IRDA, or Iskandar Regional Development Authority, in 2013. And we have actually worked closely with them in establishing a blueprint for Iskandar Malaysia, which targets 2030 as part of the target to reduce carbon. And we developed our own in 2016 low carbon society action plan, which targets the city to actually reduce carbon in 2025 as per what's been outlined just now, which we are trying to push things further ahead. And through the planning guidelines and development control, we have taken into account all these agendas to be actually part of the KM, Kementerian Merancang, Plan Bangunan, the Kerja Tanah and Plan Landscape, in approving plans for developers putting in their submissions in Johor Bharu. And we do find key challenges in our next most importantly in our policies planning and implementation, we feel that there's a lot of overlapping roles at different jurisdiction levels, which delay implementation progress, and people are still not really exposed to the idea of having a green as well as a low carbon guidelines in their departments. And we do find that source of funding and financing, meaning to say a lack of financial incentives to attract private investors to actually participate in renewable energy projects. Because at one time we do know that solar was expensive, but things have changed nowadays. Actually, we have find there's a lot of ways to actually encourage people to go for solar and renewable energy. And we do see that there's a need for incentives and subsidies to be increased and affordability for RE solutions for people to embark into their developments as well as building. And low carbon urban planning, we have a growing population. That means there's a big demand for utilities, infrastructure, and business area. Then we feel that it is difficult to maximize potentials for urban green space. Meaning to say, when you do in your planning, we are getting smaller in terms of space. We need to see how the space that we use can be fully maximized. It's either you go vertical or you have to really get people to put in the elements of green in their development. Community participation is another challenge, which I think people are still taking things easy, even though people do see that climate change impact is actually an everyday threat to Johor Bharu, for example. There's an issue of flood, flash flood, things like that. And we do see that there's a lacking of awareness, which we are working very hard, especially at the level of education, to actually get the children and the community to be part of this low carbon agenda. Lack of proper data was also our main challenge, because we don't have a proper data which we store to actually keep up with the data points and actually to measure how much we have done to actually reduce the carbon emissions in Johor Bharu. So in looking at the sustainable concept in property and construction sector, next, we do get, we started off by putting ourselves first as a leading organization in the government to make our new Menara MPJB as a green building, which has been designed and complied with the GBI index. And of course, this building that we built has just been open and being used for about 2 years. And we do see, we hope to, with this kind of a development that we have, this has actually encourage other private sectors like Topen and Menara J-Land to also get into buildings with GBI index in their development. And number two, in order to, the biggest, now JB is actually full in a very rapid development coming up after the Singapore borders are open, and everyone starts to actually start building and starts to develop. And I think the biggest challenge is when construction sites starts everything at the same time. The issue of flash floods was the biggest issue, and we have to actually review and relook at a lot of things to actually, especially in matters of managing stormwater, which becomes a very important part of our plan to make sure that our cities are not flooded during this extreme climate change impact. Next one. Actually, JB is still a brownfield in the sense of putting in transit-oriented development. I think we do have our RTS, which is still undergoing development for which can only be ready in 2026, and our double tracking project is still not completed, and there is still a need to have a transport network like LRT or BRT in the city of Johor Bharu. So all these networks are actually being planned, but we are here to encourage more of transit-oriented developments to encourage and to make sure that this is where people can embark into public transports to reduce total global emissions of carbon. And we do have blue-green corridors. I think we have done that nicely, working with IRDA to actually upgrade the Sungai Segit, which is a small river which goes through the city. And also we are looking at other green corridors which are actually being planned. And this has been, some of it has actually been done, but in smaller pockets of the, development corridors. So the challenge is actually next is to establish regulations to integrate green elements into future development in the city. So when we see this as a challenge, we do actually have to put enforcement in place by putting in the guidelines and the requirements for developers to actually now maybe build a good network of drainage as well as system of to make sure that the city is not flooded, and the challenge is also to make the drains go bigger, and as well as putting in the right trees before development is being done to prevent surface water runoff, as well as cleaning the city and reducing carbon as part of the plan. So that is basically the challenges that we are doing. And of course, the biggest challenge is how do we make it cheaper for green initiatives to be done at this the development level. Next. And then have the next slide. Of course, green sustainable value chain, we are looking at transforming the value chain to a greener form to decarbonize urban activities, and people have to see how they can see the value of why they need to transform and change their practices in terms of putting in industries as well as commercial buildings that fulfills the green agenda. So we do have we need to have a clear understanding between PBTs or local authorities with the state and federal government to provide direct fiscal allocation and sharing some of the burdens and incentives for people to embark into environment and conservative action. Incentives can also be in the form of reward program where we can do tax relief and access to financing for government for green buildings and green initiatives to be part of the development. And we will actually work closely with CASA and also Malaysia Green Tech to find ways to actually see how we can play a bigger role in championing the low carbon agenda with the people, and we do actually need to actually sit down with different ministries under us, for example, like the Southern Waste Management and the South SW Corp, which is the regulator for waste management at the south of Johor, to further roll out green initiatives and recycling as well as circular economy projects to actually get people to be part of it. So that's basically my presentation, which I think is within the time stipulated. We will share further points during the discussion session. Thank you, Dato.
Thank you very much, Yang Bahagia, Dato Haji, Noorazam. And now that was very interesting, actually. Yeah, short and sweet, well within the time. So now moving to Penang, Yang Bahagia, Dato Tung Seang. We're looking forward to your presentation now. Take your time. We don't really have a time constraint on you. Don't worry about that. We're looking forward to this. Thank you very much,
Johan, Raslan, and also my friend here, Dato Haji Muhammad Noorazam, the Mayor of MBJB, and Yang Bahagia Encik Abdul Manaf Rajikan from DBKK. I just back from the BKK, your city, and architect Serina Hijjas, J. Aswin from Greenery, and also Juanita, also from Greenery. And of course, to all my friends here online, good afternoon and salam sejahtera. Of course, first of all, I'd like to thank for inviting me to participate in this engagement sessions. So allow me to echo the same old story again of 1.5 degrees Celsius. I believe most of us have heard about this 1.5 degree. What is this 1.5 degree? Actually, 1.5 degree, it was a target set to slow down the global warming, not exceeding 1.5 degrees Celsius in year or by year 2100. So if you look at this graph, actually we have been enjoying to flatten the curve in year 1940. So we only have about 35 years till 1975 that stabilized the global temperature. But since then, 78, 79, 80, industrialization coming to the picture, that you can see that the graph is coming up gradually. So last year, IPCC gave us a very so-called not so good report saying that this 1.5 degree we may achieve much earlier, which is 60 years earlier. So by year 2040, we will exceed this target of 1.5 degree Celsius. So no time for us. We really need to do something or double or triple up. So just like our Dato Seri, actually I like your title, that is climate emergency. This is emergency time, this is crisis time. I think most of us in this industry, we are fully aware what Dato Mayor MBJB mentioned an initiative in JB is happening also in Pinang and most of the city here. We are also championing the green agenda by putting a lot of initiative and effort how to have our low carbon city, green connectors, green buildings, so forth and so on. So because we are fully aware that daily we are dealing with this approval or approving the planning permission, building plan, and also the infrastructure. This built environment has contributed about 40% of the carbon footprint in our city. I would say that in Malaysia also. So at the rapid rate of this development happening in all city, we can expect that greenhouse gas emission will be worsened. So even those many sectors have taken the initiative to tackle this issue, but we need to do more. So nevertheless, global warming is inevitable. So we cannot stop the development, but we can find ways to reduce and slow down the greenhouse gas emission of development, just like what my friend said also. We must implement it as a city manager or policy maker. We have to implement through very careful policy like land use pattern, development control policy, and other acts and guidelines that we can impose. So on the part of the City Council of Penang Island, we have started our Cleaner, Greener Penang initiative since 2009. That time, we have started with a very basic thing that we can do is planting more trees, make the city more green. And same in time, in the same year also, 2009, we also adopted the Green Building Index Rating 2, GPI. So this is the first step for us to encourage the property and construction sector to implement projects with a lower carbon footprint here. We incentivize the GPI rated project with a rebate on unit charges, and that is our 12 years program, where any project that obtain gold or platinum rating will be given the rebate. Now, actually, in order to go for the sustainability, we have revised the incentive policy since 2 years ago. And to ensure it, this will go back to the end user. We give it the incentive directly to the individual, to the occupants or corporation. So if they continue to sustain and maintain their GPI rating for the next 3 years, they will get a rebate on their assessment rate. For those existing building, if retrofit their building into the green building, they will get a full exemption of assessment for the first few years. So in order to do that, to get a better impact, we are helping the so-called principal submitting person, because it's not easy for them to convince their client happen to be the developer. So we are happy that developers also are here in supporting the green agenda. So we have adopted and imposed the energy efficiency bylaw, EE bylaw, which is under the section 38A of UBBL, in line with our MS 1525 on every new development. This make it mandatory for all new buildings to comply with the bylaw. So all buildings must have an OTTV and RTTV that are lower or between the recommended value. So this OTTV indirectly will make sure that we are almost there. Our building design constructed will be almost green building. So due to this effort and policy for Penang, even though we are the second smallest state in Malaysia, but we have the third largest GBI building footprint in Malaysia. We have a total of 24.33 million square foot of GBI building footprint. So this has reduced the carbon emission by about 73.24 kilotons per year. So to translate into the easy understanding, is equivalent to car emission of about 16,000 cars each year. So this one is only from GBI. I believe that if we include other green building for other green tool like greenery, Minecraft, and also other green tool, I believe that the green buildings footprint is much bigger than what I mentioned just now. So I'm glad to note that now more and more parties are willing to go green. Even those with or without incentive, they will take steps to lower down the carbon footprint. What you can see, actually, also many green tools projects in Malaysia, such as I mentioned just now, greenery, Minecraft, Kaspi, Iskandar, and even Malacca also have their green tool also. But this is a sign or so-called a competition, a healthy competition. Everybody is going for green. So even with or without incentive, let's go green together. So also for construction site, because today we are talking of focusing on the decarbonizing of the property and construction sector. So for Penang, City Council of Penang Island, we have make it mandatory for any project. The PSP, before we allow them to start work, they must submit their C&D waste management plan to us. They must tell us that how they handle the waste, C&D waste, the construction and the demolition waste, and how they recycle it, how to minimize it before they can have no choice, only dispose at our landfill. So this is a mandatory for them to follow. So again, ladies and gentlemen, water is very valuable resource. And those in Penang, we are known for our high quality water with the cheapest water tariff. But we still have to be very careful in managing our water resource. In 2018, again, we make it mandatory for the installation of water saving devices in all buildings. This again, we are helping the PSP mandatory. So easy for you to answer to your client or developer. So easier to push that. Actually, this is a requirement by the local authority. Again, to make it more impactful and to get a bigger market share in this holistic agenda, green agenda, go green, go for low carbon, most of our local authority here, we are gathered under our Mala platform. Just now, architect Serina mentioned that under our Malaysian Association of Local Authority, right now we have about 98 out of 155 local authority in this platform. So this is sharing platform among our city, among our member here to go for the agenda. So we act as a bridge between our ministry, especially the KPKT, and also our community, as what we are fully, I think everybody aware that we are closer to our community. So with our local contact, our local knowledge, we think that we should serve our city better. So once again, we are talking about the exhaust, what the tackle, the thing exhaust. So we believe that if we match the whole particular site, for the development example, from the green field, turn it into the brown field, don't claim the carbon from the other side. So handle exhaust via your planning, your design, construction management, everything, your innovation, your technology, to make sure that your product actually come out with a minimum. If can zero waste or zero carbon, of course, that will be much better. So we believe that if you match that particular site, solve the problem at that particular site. For Mala, we are working with this MGTC, the Malaysia Green Technology and Climate Corporation, together with MGBC, Malaysia Green Building Council, and also the Tenaga Nasional Berhad. We are working one step further, exploring the option under this BEI, Building Energy Intensity as a measurement of energy usage. So it will help both those in the local governments and also those in the private sector to plan effective sustainable development project. We want green buildings that also has a lower energy consumption based on the BEI index. So no point, I think, just subjectively or look green or greenwashing in certain building. But now, with this BEI, we believe that we will get a very objective achievement or outcome or output. So currently, we are working on another incentive program to buildings that achieve low energy consumption rating under the BEI benchmark. For example, MGBC and also MGTC, they have been working out office building. The BEI benchmark shouldn't be more than 150 kilowatt hour per square meter per year. So we also tapping into the TNB transformation program. They are fixing the smart meter. So they are pushing the sharing of our data for us to consider how can we incentivize those buildings to really go for this BI below BI benchmark. On the other notes, City Council of Penang Island, we have a policy. Any new project must be GBI building. Any upgrading project, retrofitting or whatever is, must be also complies with the GBI. So greenery is okay, I think, because GEI came first, GBI came first. So greenery also we just recognized lately. We have one project. We are constructing a green building. This is first kind we are trying with a view of reaching toward triple net zero. Is a transit center that will be solar powered. The water will be gathered from a rainwater harvesting system, and that will be zero waste generated from this building. So it's our aim to see more building for gold GBI, for our triple net zero. We hope that we can achieve our GBI platinum status also. So this project, we really hope that we can inspire others in the property sector to consider building similar low carbon green building that will certainly lower the carbon footprint of the built environment in our city in the long run. Thank you. Dato Seri, hand over the floor to you.
Thank you very much, Bahagia Datuk. That was also very interesting indeed. It's great to see two great cities of the country, and also great sort of carbon emitters, obviously as well, because you are great, doing a lot of work. So that's wonderful. Now I'd like to call upon thirdly, Ambusa Abdul Manaf Rajikan, Deputy Director General of Planning and Development from Dewan Bandaraya, Kota Kinabalu, to share with us how you are getting on. And you know, again, I say congratulations for holding the conference this week of mayors. I know that you was there, and so a lot of sharing must have taken place there. So let me hand over to you, Chair Abdul Manaf. Thank you.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon to everybody. Thank you, Dato Johan, moderator. Yang berbahagia, Dato Arkitek Yo, Mayor Pinang City Council, Dato Haji Mohd Noorazam, Dato Bandar Johor Bharu, Miss Serina, Hijjas, and the rest of the Urus Setia for this afternoon session. So again, I would like to extend our mayor, extend her apology again for not being able to be with us for this afternoon session. I think mostly due to our GCOM events still, I think finishing now this afternoon. But nevertheless, representing KK, I will share some of our, I can say that it's a continuous efforts towards smart and green, as well as addressing the climate change issues. So if I may share.
Do you need any assistance, Abdul Manaf?
Yeah, okay, already.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Actually, the title there maybe a bit not to say misleading lah. Maybe I saw that just now under Dato Bandar Pinang, it's some topic on property and construction sector. So okay, never mind. Okay, I start with a bit with our KKCP background. Maybe most of us already know where Kota Kinabalu is. Kota Kinabalu, I think we are sharing the boundary with Pinang at the south of east coast, sorry, west coast of Malaysia. And then the Tuaran in the north, and then there are a few islands along the shoreline of Kota Kinabalu. So I'm not going to touch more on this background. I just go quickly to the Seri, the slide. Okay. As Kota Kinabalu city continue to expand and urbanize, we recognize continuous challenges that will shape Kota Kinabalu future. Most city reality dwells in overcrowded quarters with no reliable access to clean water and sanitation or electricity, roads too often congested, scattered public transportation, widespread floods during monsoon seasons, so on and so forth. So certainly climate change and its crisis resonated globally. As a lesson learned from our all-out effort during fighting COVID-19, we take the word crisis to create opportunity, and we like to keep this drive going into climate neutrality. Sometimes we frequently complain and are quick to criticize when our streets are flooded, our shorelines are full of plastics, landslides, feeling too hot. But for a moment, maybe we can reflect a bit which of what should be our duty as a community. The local authorities are imperfect. I think everybody agree with me. Therefore, we must work collectively to fight these issues together with the mindset of not leaving anyone behind. We in Kota Kinabalu City Hall will ensure our significant involvement together with our PPT's counterpart in the rest of Malaysia and cities around the world in the fight against climate crisis. We do admit that we still need to further improve our data management in terms of collecting, compiling, and reporting, as well as assigning dedicated teams to efficiently handle the planning and monitoring of preparation of smart and green city initiative, as well as developing the climate action plan for Kota Kinabalu, which is still in the very preliminary stage of preparation, if I may compare with other our PBT's counterpart in Malaysia. But we thank our PBT counterparts, especially DBKL, maybe to name a few, DBKL, Pinang, and also Ipoh. Recently, I think last month, we had some road trip. We start from KL, going towards the north. We go by bus. We stop at Ipoh and then we go towards Pinang. We stop at Seberang Perai and then we go to Pinang Council. Okay. As you can see on the screen, this is some of our ongoing programs, which I believe this is all in lines with the 7 main components of the Malaysian Smart City initiatives. Number 1 is the implementation of pedestrian and cycleway under 3 phases. This one, I think we have started this one before the pandemic, and we are now going into the phase 3 of the project. The project is located along the shoreline of Kota Kinabalu, start from Tanjung Aru town up to the University Malaysia Sabah campus. Along the way, which are all equipped with LED solar lighting. Okay, next is the pilot project in collaboration with the Ministry of the Environment, Japan, where we are targeting to refurbish some of our identified existing sewage treatment plant, or STP, over the duration of 2 years. If this pilot project succeed, extended allocation might be granted for other STPs. Under RNK 12 this year, we also propose to install again LED solar light at 16 of our bus stops and bin centers within the KK City Central Business District area. As a part, tackling our waste management issue. We are also doing some of waste segregation at source, which is already started at 3 housing estates, namely Taman Jindo, Taman Greenview, and Taman Alam Damai, and we are going into 4 other condominiums which will be started soon. Next is our Love KK program. This is a new program. Under this program, there are 7 components, which I will touch later. So, but last but not least is the urban farming and tree planting, which we still continuously doing this program. So this is the overall 17-kilometer long cycleway along the KK shoreline, start from Tanjung Aru at the south, going towards University Malaysia Sabah on the north. So along the way, we can see many cultural, historical, and visual natural experience along the way, where we can see our rivers, our what you call swamp area, especially at the north side of this cycleway track. So it is a relatively flat topography. Now we are constructing one bridge. I think if some of us know, there is a new Pusat Pentadbiran Negeri Sabah there, just next to the Yayasan Sabah building. So we are building one new bridge there just for the cycleway. So we are going towards sharing the facility for pedestrian and the cyclists. So along the shoreline. Okay. So this is just now I mentioned about our KK Love KK program. What is this Love KK program? It is a joint collaboration between DBKK and stakeholders towards a better KK. So under this program, we have 7 what you call main component. That is the clean KK, green KK, beautiful KK, heritage KK, vibrant KK, livable KK, and healthy KK. The uniqueness of this program is all the committee that I mentioned just now, the component I mentioned just now, is not headed by our own staff. It's all headed by our stakeholders, our professional, our NGOs partner, where we give the responsibility in tracking our environmental issue to the committee. What you call our peranan in this committee just as a secretariat to monitor the implementation of all programs under the various component of this KK Love KK program. Now I move to the one of our climate and environmental related document that Kota Kinabalu used as a reference. This is what you call Kota Kinabalu Green City Action Plan. Actually, this was co-prepared by DBKK, Kota Kinabalu City Hall, and the ICLEI, the Local Governments for Sustainability, way back in 2019. Under this Green City Action Plan, we have listed 9 priority projects, as you can see on the screen. That is the solar photovoltaic system, energy efficient street lighting, integrated public transportation system, integrated solid waste management facility, energy efficiency building program, education for sustainability, reduction of non-revenue water, sustainable initiative in Pulau Gaya, and last but not least is the Jesselton Waterfront City. Some of these projects are already ongoing, but of course there are some issue with funding that only a few of this project that we can we managed to put some effort to make it at least there's some movement of the program. For example, the integrated solid waste management facility, we are now doing constructing our phase 3 of our what you call pusat pelupusan sampah in Kayu Madang. This is the pusat pelupusan sampah for KK, but also shared by other district. What you call near to KK, such as Tuaran, Pinampang, Papar, all also sharing the same pusat pelupusan sampah. Okay. As for the reduction of non-revenue water, we are working closely with Jabatan Air Negeri Sabah, as well as the Education for Sustainable Development, where we get the involvement from the universities and colleges within the Kota Kinabalu city. So there is the Green City Action Plan for Kota Kinabalu. And now we move to the another project. There is a collaboration between Toyama City, Japan and Kota Kinabalu City. Okay, under this project, there will be a city-to-city collaboration for zero carbon society. So there will be a joint crediting mechanism under this project where the Japanese government is implementing as an implementing agency for this project. Will be using the JCM, joint credit management, in order to reduce greenhouse GHG emission. So the implementation body is Japan and US Company Limited from Japan. At this moment, we are still facilitating the feasibility studies under the Japanese agency, which we believe this will lead to JCM project in the future. So there are a few identified projects under this program. There are one project under the BKK, the rest is under our counterpart, that is Sabah Electricity Sdn Bhd. And then the other one is the project of disseminating renewable energy in non-electrified area, where we choose one village in Anam area, that is Kampung Kobuni. So there will be this kampung will be the first kampung in KK to participate under this city-to-city development project collaboration. Next is our proposed smart city township. This is quite a big area. It's about 683 hectares located at Kuala Manggatal. If you can clearly see the diagram there, at the north of the area, the proposed area is where our University Technology Mara Cawangan Sabah located. So it's also very near to our soil line. The feasibility study started in November 2019 by the Korean Land and Housing Corporation, Republic of Korea. So it was completed sometime in September last year. But of course, there are challenges in terms of implementation of this project, where on the ground there are illegal squatters, unplanned housing construction, poor sewerage system, not to mention the lack of public transport system, high car dependency, high non-revenue water due to leakages. So illegal and unregistered water connection were everywhere in this area. So under the partnership between Mohd Korea and the Malaysian government, there was a MOU signed sometime in March 2019. The study for the feasibility study is totally funded by the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport, Mohd, Republic of Korea. So at this moment, we are still considering the sources of funding for the physical construction. Of course, we have already tabled this to the our state government because there was an involvement by the state government also. I think before the pandemic, there was a visit from our state government representative to the Korean side there. So last but not least, global alliance to fight the climate crisis. This is the topic, I think, for the last 2 days during our GCOM conference in Hyatt Hotel KK. So this alliance, where with a shared long-term vision of promoting and supporting voluntary action to combat climate changes and move to a low-emission, resilient society, which will become a major platform to systematically look into the impact of climate changes on our cities and towns. I think Datuk Bandar Pulau Pinang, Datuk Architect Yu, I think he was there during the opening of the conference. We still need the one platform to systematically look into the impact of climate change on our cities. Without a doubt, we will need the resources in terms of expertise and funds to get things done. Since I can say that we are in Kota Kinabalu city, we are still a bit behind most of our PBT counterparts in Semenanjung, just Johor and Pinang. So as mentioned by Dato Architect Yu before our session started just now, we are still learning from each other. So we are hoping that we can learn more from our PBT counterpart in Semenanjung, especially on how to develop successful climate action plan. So Kota Kinabalu also in close cooperation with our professional bodies and association in KK, especially IEM, PAM, SEM, and also our Malaysian Green Building Council, as well as our developers partner Serina in KK. So there is a need to mutually come out with one mutual concern to orderly and progressive development of Sabah, that we are still looking for more sustainable development project while improving project procurement, increasing our energy efficiency, adopting new green technologies, especially on artificial intelligence and Internet of Things, for example, streamlining regulation, and so on and so forth. So hopefully we are looking forward to see more cooperation between PBTs and Malaysia to get things done especially on this climate change action plan. So I think Datuk Moderator, I think itu saja dari KK for this time around. So just now I saw in the chat box there is one question. Ini I think is a quite interesting one.
Yes, Jamanov, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, yes, a number of questions are coming up in the chat box and also direct to me from the participants on my mobile phone. So I'm trying to, collate them all and try to susun a bit. So thank you very much from
Thank you.
From JB, Pinang, and KK. Really, we cover the spectrum of Malaysia. Really. so there's actually the questions, there are too many to ask and to answer in the time we have available left, which is really about 20-25 minutes only. So let me try and see if I have to combine a few, if you like. So on the question of recycling, and there is a lot of skepticism out in the public that really what recycling is really going on. Is there too much going to waste, to landfills and all that? So maybe to ask anybody who wants to answer this, what are the top challenges that you find in the short and medium term to overcome in this waste to landfill issue, so that you can try and deliver this the aim of zero waste to landfill? I open the floor to whoever. And, oh, by the way, on this question, for the Q&A, we are being joined by architect Serina Hijjas. So she will also take part in this this question. She is principal director of Hijjas Kasturi Associates near Bharu Architects, and chairman of Green Building Index, and vice accreditation panel, and vice president of Malaysia Green Building Council. So welcome you to the panel as well. So 4 of you, please, anybody wishes to answer this question on the waste, the circular economy, waste management, waste recycling, and landfill.
Yeah, Sarah said, I think you don't need to show the questions. We'll just have this. You can hide the slides after. No need to show this. I think Johor and Pinang are addressing quite aggressively waste to landfill. I believe there are some major projects that are happening there with regards. So I think it's good to hear from Johor and from Pinang. Perhaps KK not just yet. It's building up towards that, but perhaps you could hear from Johor about waste to landfill.
Okay, thank you, Serina. Basically, in the area of Johor Bharu itself, we all share a common landfill in Kulai, which is currently, that is the sanitary landfill in Silong. The scenario of waste management in Johor is a bit different from the one in Pinang or in Selangor, because we are governed by SW Corp, which is a solid waste corporation, which sits under the Ministry of Local Government. The focus on recycling, the focus on green is not so much, I would say, not really high on the agenda. There's not much effort been put in to actually incentivize people to go for recycling and also to go into circular economy potentials. And we do face a problem because it is beyond, you see, in the scenario in Johor, we just pay Southern Waste Management, which is the concessionaire under SW Corp, which does the waste management collection for all solid municipal waste in Johor, including cleansing of drains and cutting of grass. So in that sense, we cannot, if they don't fulfill or we cannot directly actually direct them to actually follow our standards, because they are all governed by SW Corp. But the problem with SW Corp is they don't really embrace the idea of this green and low carbon agenda as big as what we are talking today. So this is the part where this issue of understanding between federal, state, and the local government needs to be addressed, so that all of us gets on the same line and same focus. And we do face problems in that sense. What we can do at local level is just to go on community-based projects, pilot projects like low-cost areas, which we do help, assist, and we in a way, just to encourage, we need to buy their waste in a way, instead of really getting them to really see what recycling is all about, because the people don't see the value of recycling yet at this point. So education system, and I would say that Johor Bharu, being, even though it's a big city, but we do a bit lacking in terms of going towards this really rolling out the green part the green agenda. There's a lot of things that we are not yet in place, and we are kind of under pressure because we are just next door to Singapore, which is way ahead in terms of what they are doing. And that's why in Johor we have this agenda called the Greater JB Agenda. We're working closely with IRDA to actually get everyone together to champion it and to see how the funding can come in, how to standardize policies, and how to put in regulations. I'm impressed by Pinang imposing for all new projects they need to have green buildings, things like that, which in Johor we are not yet there yet, actually, in that sense. So back to the issue of waste, I think in Johor, it is still quite infant in terms of really promoting recycling and reducing waste to not go to landfill. We don't even have a single waste to energy facility in Johor, not in Johor.
I was going to ask about that because I thought the waste to energy, they are a couple of bids going down in Johor.
Not proposal, yes, but nothing is in actually being approved yet or really being on the ground.
Right. And Pinang, how are you combating waste?
Yeah, Serina. The waste, actually, we have been hearing this waste to energy, so-called technology available here and there, and there are so many proposals. But in today's context, this our topic here today we want to discuss actually is more on the construction sector. So
that's true.
We leave aside this so-called, of course, everybody, we also have our zero waste management roadmap. We started like what any city here, we encourage the recycling. So we are working very closely with the Haji, Pinang is very strong, and also we have licensed quite a number of these waste collector to take the recycle item, and the management corporation also. We make it a mandatory to have one recycle item for them to collect the recycle item. But that is only can take part of the waste. Example, in Penang Island, we have nearly 1,000 tons of waste daily. We only managed to take out about 30.1% through the recycling exercise. So the rest, we have to sort it out. And of course, MRF, diversions, waste energy, all these are the things that are in the pipeline, hoping one day we can just send a very minimum or zero waste to the landfill. So to make it easier for everybody, just like I mentioned just now in my slide, for today's topic is about construction. So again, soft at the source. So if you demolish the building for a new development, we want to know how you handle your C&D waste. So we have the data. We have all their movement, and we are working together with the architect or PSP to make sure that they get rid of waste as much as possible before the landfill. So, Dato Seri, moderator, just now I saw 2 questions there. If you can allow me, I just take the opportunity just to...
Yes, please.
Yeah, touch about, I think, to make it short, your question actually is concerned about the sustainable maintenance. We know that we can do things, but when it comes to maintenance, definitely that is the most challenging part. So that's why, as much as we can, normally we will practice the 4P. Private, public, private, people. So people is very important. The last one actually is professional, like architect, engineer, very professional we need for the particular thing. But the people buy-in is very important. For example, Pulau Pinang, we have been doing upgrading of air. As just example is our green connector, the backlink transformation. we will engage that straight that you want this project now, we go for you. If they want, we go ahead. If you want that, you must promise us after we complete, we take care together. If that state don't want, then we'll move to the next one. So we have to prioritize which one to go. We want to make sure that if can sustain, then we move forward. If cannot, then we go for other things. And also the same person asking about the data, the low carbon city data, the CO2. Every city is talking about, I want to move toward 40% CO2 reduction by what year? 50% by what year? Neutralize the carbon by what year? So it's very challenging. But anyway, credit should be given to the MGBC, MGTC. They are working hard in terms of this calculation to come up with a very easy or whatever carbon calculator for us. But in a pipeline, that's why I stretched that BEI. Whatever we do here, end up will be your product, the final product, outcome based or performance based. That is the energy efficiency in your particular project. So you want to see your TNB meter reading. Is that really is a BEI benchmark or below? That indirectly also translate into your CO2 reduction as one objective measurement or index to measure. So a way forward also, we are working also to work. It's called EV. So way forward will be the EV. For example, if you charge 1 watt of the EV into your vehicle, actually is equivalent. It's subject to correction. This one we are still in the study. So 1 watt of the EV power, maybe you need 3 watt of the effort fossil fuel to produce 1 watt. So if you can go to EV, also that kind of calculation, also we need to address it. But to make it easier, let's go for TNB meter to look at your energy consumption. That are you walking the talk, go green or go for the low energy? Okay, Dato Seri.
I think you've hit. Sorry, go ahead, Dato Seri.
Yeah, I was just wondering about your low carbon building. I think where you have the waste and all that, you have to you give them, you regulate that. Is that just for larger buildings, up down to a certain size? Is it above a certain size?
The waste management mandatory for any project scheme that Pinang.
Yeah, there were 3 things. One of them is waste, and there are 2 other things. Is that for larger buildings only, or all commercial buildings? Or?
All building, even the small as alteration works, or even a big project also. The first thing, Pinang, for Pinang, people always complain because for Pinang we control your COW, commencement of work. Even those under the UBBL, you Form B, whatever it is, we still have one step further that we want to sit down with the architect to see that before you commence work, we want to look into other factors. One of them actually is your C&D waste management. Tell us how you reduce your C&D waste. And that is for the construction, big or small, so we address.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted you, Serina.
No, I think that the way Pinang has started to categorize, and it's something that it's very difficult to get to the full database, the GHG for your own city. It may take some time before you even get there. Part of that's connected to smart cities, part of that's connected to data. But I think what we can start to look, because we know nationally we need a 45% reduction. We know it doesn't cost more than 1%, if that, to go with energy efficiency. So there is no cost barrier for anybody to build or to retrofit for energy-wise, and we have the MS standards. I like the way that Pinang has actually established energy, waste, water in reductions, despite and not waiting for the database to come. In this way, it's just very, very simple and very, very clear. So for water, for example, we know, I have data from just 10 of my own buildings, but data from GBI, we can do 45% reduction of potable water. So just by fittings, we can do water harvesting. So if we set that as some certain mandatories now, because we're looking at the 5-year plan, then it maybe simplifies the whole thing. So like the energy on BEI, different buildings typologies have different building energy intensity. If we set that there's a 45 reduction on any building that you're going to build now, we don't have to wait for this data to come. So I think these initiatives that the PBTs and all the rest can actually start to put in when they're looking for planning permission and all the rest of it, because you can actually control that. And really, it would be great to encourage. So seeing that in a much more simplistic way helps us, because it's very, carbon is a very big language. It's not surprising that KK is, trying to grapple with this idea of carbon. But we can already start on energy efficiency, water efficiency, waste efficiency. Let's just use these simple ways and we can actually bring down the trajectory, I guess.
Okay. I want to slip in one question before we ask for a wrap up from the participants. And this one is anonymous, but it obviously comes from a property developer person. Are there one or two initiatives that large developers can collaborate with local authorities to help reduce, well, the heat island effect, but also to do other things in this in this area? Is there anything that initiatives that developers can work, big ones can work with local authorities, do you think? So this is I think it must be a plea from, because the companies now have their own, as you mentioned, their own voluntary, they want to do things better. The property development companies, because their own shareholders, their bankers, all are expecting this. So any suggestion from Dato you or Dato Noorazam or Chimanov?
Yeah, that's
or collaboration.
Yeah, maybe that's I just touch about this. Of course, there are developers here, but some of them actually very hard for them to answer, to voice up here. So to make their life easier, that's why we as a policymaker, we have so many bylaws. What the state need to do, just adopt it. For example, I think rainwater housing also inside there, UD also inside that, or MS 1184, and of course the energy EE also 38A also inside that. Once you adopt it in your state, like it or not, PBT life will be much easier, and even the PSP also is easier. It's not, if not, they will compare with each other. Why this architect firm don't need, this architect firm need this thing? So we have to come back together. But of course, there are quite a number of good developers also coming in. Even those developer is looking bottom line actually is a profit. With this BUSA introducing submission of the ESG also is a one positive way forward. So there are many big timers that need to submit the ESG or take this opportunity, leveraging on this green agenda, coming together and make our city greener and also low carbon. That's Seri.
Thank you. If there are no other ideas on this, I'm going to now move to sort of wrap up now. And if I may, I'm going to ask Jemana, then Dato you, then Dato Razam to give us, your final words, maybe your top 2 or 3 takeaways, that if there's one thing you want us to remember, what is it from what you said, or your key thrusts of your things? So we're looking forward to this. Jemana, your turn first.
Yeah, terima kasih Dato Sri. Of course, after attending the 2 days conference with GCOM for the last 2 days, we think that developing our own climate action plan, even though we have all the planning there, but in terms of data management, to convert all those initiative into a plan still is our priority at this moment. So I think apart from that, we are also looking into how we are going to address our public transportation issue in KK. So we have been planning for the last, I can say, nearly 20 years ago, but the plan keep on changing. Last time we are planning to go for BRT, and after that BRT, and now going back to BRT. So that's the issue that we are facing at this moment in KK, our public transportation, where we still need to construct new terminals, and then we are also working hand in hand with LPKP, Lembaga Pelesinan Kenderaan, to address all those small minibuses, to go for a consortium to better manage all those routing of buses. So apart from that, also the waste management is still also a problem to us in KK, even though we already started with our small waste segregation activity. We have also opened one special center in KK just for the recycling purpose. We call it Pusat Lestari KK, Pusat Lestari Kota Kinabalu, where we we open to the, especially to the younger people, generation, to show their talent, show their expertise in repairing, for example, handphones, electrical equipments, before we dump to the landfill. So we are also looking into recycling all those used cooking oil under the program, the Pusat Lestari, and as well as what you call ini, to encourage all those people who are willing to donate the pakaian terpakai, used clothes, all they can use this Pusat Lestari as a center for all those recycling activity. So I think the others is, of course, the digitalization still also our priority, because it is listed out in our state Sabah Maju Jaya punya program, the digitalization of our services, and also our counter service in especially in our DBKK headquarters. So I think at this moment this is the priority that we are looking into.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Yang bahagia Datuk you from Pinang, your final takeaway thoughts, please.
Thank you again. I will say that all the city doing almost the same thing here, how to even every city here in Malaysia, 155, have the different magnitude of the scale of development and the local context, sizes, everything. But we are fighting for one common thing. We shared that it's the livability of the city. The livability also go very closely to today's topic also, the low carbon. So today we have so many radar or green developer here, also play very important. I believe that they also don't want to live in a city which is not livable. So my take here is, if kita diamanahkan to play our role, so we are entrusted to play our role. In our context here, as a local government, we play as a policy maker. If you are a developer, play your part as a developer, consultant also. So everybody actually must play a very important role in combating this crisis, or what we say the climate emergency. No time, really no time for us to bargain. There's no reason that we don't go for green. So even those are developer also, please trust us, believe me, that if we go green for long term, It's good for you, good for our future generation. What we can see that there are so many warning signs. Even in Malaysia also, last year we were hit, December, we were hit by this flash flood, 125,000 people affected. And of course, we Mala put our hand together, of course, to help each other. And also the recent heat waves happening in Europe also, one of the signs. So these are very, very critical ways. So everybody, please put our hand together. Our climate action is not only more a slogan, low carbon, fighting these are things, but we need action and drastic action to go for this emergency crisis topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dato. Well said. And last but not least, Dato Noorazam from Johor Bharu, please, your final takeaway points to us.
Yes, Dato Sri, thank you. I do echo what Dato you from Pinang mentioned just now, that this is the time to actually get everyone to actually champion this agenda, whether it's smart city, livable city, green agenda. We need to have, number one, it has to come from the government first, meaning to say the political will to actually put aside differences must be the number one agenda, to have a clear understanding and putting everyone on the same page. This is where I think Pinang, being Pinang, I think the government, the state government is itself very serious in actually going towards this green agenda. And I think this is where we at the state now, we are working closely, but a lot of things are still not in place. And understanding things with even the federal government, with agencies like the waste agencies, the water agencies, because before water was a state matter, now it's partly federal as well. So everyone must be on the same page and putting towards all efforts and focus towards reducing carbon and making it more livable and green as well as sustainable. So I do believe the key point here is getting everyone to actually on the same page and really, not really to enforce, but force, in a way to force developers, governments, departments to actually champion and actually embrace this idea of green and reducing carbon emission and making it a more livable city. So I would say these are the important points that needs to be addressed. But of course, we are not sitting down doing nothing. We will actually keep on moving. And we do feel that we have to work not like triple effort to actually achieve the targets that we have put in. So I think that's basically coming from my point, coming from Johor Bharu here. Thank you, Dato.
Terima kasih. Well, if I were to finally wrap it all up, from our point of view, I think I would say that there's so much to do. From what you have said, it's clear that there's kind of more to do than I thought there was to do, and maybe I'm sure that others share that as well. But you are definitely, Dato Noorazam, we can see that you're definitely not doing nothing. You are doing a lot, all three of you, in order to make our cities livable. And we congratulate you and thank you for your openness. As Serina said earlier, change needs to happen at the city level to best respond to climate change. Because if your cities are not doing it already, you are more important than most parties are doing this, to set strategic measurable targets and mitigate the carbon effects of climate change. National level, we all see, perhaps as Dato Noorazam said, we need to push national also to all of us to do more. We all, I think, we take heart. I hope I speak for everybody to say that we take heart from the openness that you have all shared with us. As Dato Noorazam, you started with whole pages of challenges, which is quite unusual for Malaysians to say. And I think we probably speak for everybody, and that these challenges we understand. But we could have gone with hundreds of questions about those, but we take heart that to use our words, that climate action is not merely slogans in your cities. That is very definitely what we can see. So we all need to play our roles together, as you said, local authorities, federal, we need to push federal, like you say, private sector, and private sector is more and more willing to, we understand that this cost has to be borne. We are not trying to get something for nothing. NGOs and the communities and the youth that was mentioned, but we didn't have a chance to talk too much about it. And of course, educators, because as you said, people don't really see the value yet, and the youth are not bought in. So all these local authorities, federal, private sector, NGOs, communities, youth, educators, we all need to play our roles together to encourage, but also maybe time is getting short. And to use Dato Johan's word, force. You can't just sit around. There has to be regulation. And those days of everything is voluntary, maybe it's gone. Certainly in Pinang, it's no more voluntary. Thank you so much, terima kasih, to all our superb panelists. Dato you, Dato Razam, Abdul Manaf, and of course, Serina Hijjas, our panelist stroke introducer, for your invaluable presence today at CEO Action Network and Climate Governance Malaysia's first Property and Construction Roundtable session for 2022, and the very first city-level engagement on our shared future low-carbon cities targets and initiatives. And thank you, of course, most of all, to the audience for your attendance and your participation and your many questions. So sorry we couldn't address them all, but in a future date, hopefully we can. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.